Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at part 2 of Gods of the Suel Pantheon by Leonard the Kafka. This is dragon number 87. At least one of these deities, Cord, the Brawler, has made it into my campaign on a kind of regular basis. I like these articles, and we also get some information here under the Cord write-up on how to have spawn of deities wandering around your Greyhawk world. I didn't use this exact form, but I did draw some inspiration from it. Also, subscribers, please do. Growing nicely, and I just want to keep the channel growing. So thank you for everybody who's subscribed and everybody who's been on the fence. Please subscribe. Let's keep the channel growing. Also, please take a look at my Patreon. I have rewards there now. If you could take a look at that and anything you could do to help out to grow the channel there, that would be fantastic. But back to the important stuff today. Out of dragon number 87, the second part of the Suel Pantheon, today on page 121. Dragon Magazine. Hello, old friend. Those were the days, right? All right, well, today we're going to go straight to... We're not going to go to the Ecology of the Dryad, although I may do that one down the line. Gods of the Suel Pantheon. This is part 2 in the series by Leonard the Kafka. This covers Cord the Brawler and Phaulkon, his father. It's from 1984. I like these articles a lot. I liked any of the deity stuff that Dragon put out simply because it gave you a nice reference point for how the deities were handled and what their followers should be up to. I used a lot of stuff out of these, maybe not exactly as written, but I used it to adapt it to my campaign. Here we have a nice picture of Cord, and he is Cord the Brawler. He's a greater god, armor class -7, 330 hit points. 4 attacks around, 3 to 24 plus 14 per attack. He will mess you up. Special attacks can break any item he can grasp except for a few artifacts. That's pretty important. Special defenses +2 or better to be hit. 75% MR. He's chaotic good. His worshippers alignments are fighters, berserkers, barbarians of all alignments. So he's not particular as to what the alignment is of his followers, as long as they're fighters, berserkers, or barbarians. His symbol is a white gauntlets, blue boots, and a red girdle. He's from Gladsheim. He operates a 3rd level cleric, a 25th level fighter, 3rd level magic user. He climbs walls as a 10th level thief, and he can fall as a 10th level monk. And then his strength is 25 plus 7 plus 4. Intelligence 13, wisdom 13, dexterity 21, constitution 22, charisma 13, 24 is a titan, and you see below. Cord is colossus of muscle and raw, long red beard and hair. He wears simple girdle of dragon hide. It gives him frost giant strength. Boots of blue dragon hide, boots of speed, and gauntlets of white dragon hide, gauntlets of ogre power. He is not diminished by the loss of these items, however. So he is just as powerful with or without those items. They don't affect him. He will sometimes lend them to other fighters in battle, and the items' saving throws are all at 2 or greater. He bears the sword Kelmar, an electrified +5 weapon that will dance upon Cord's command at its full +5 for 6 melee rounds, striking as a 25th level fighter, as if Cord were holding it. The sword deals out 3 to 24 points of damage when it scores a hit. When Cord wields it, Kelmar is +7 to hit and +14 to damage because of Cord's great strength. So that would actually be, it's +5 plus the 7 plus the 14. So he would be +12 to hit with it, and then +19 damage. Kelmar has an ego of 18, intelligence of 18, and is aligned to chaotic good. Beings other than Cord can use the sword. It will dance within 60 feet of the wielder, just as any dancing sword. When it dances, it strikes as many times per round as its present wielder would. Kelmar can detect enemies within 60 feet of Cord and will use this telepathy to convey this information, whether it's dancing or not. Kelmar's special purpose is to slay dragons. It acts as a vorpal weapon on a natural roll of a 20 against dragons and dragon types. Even against Tiamat, however, the sword is incapable of striking Bahamut. If Kelmar comes within 60 feet of a dragon, it's going to insist that it move forward. Now you're going to have that whole ego sword thing where it's going to drag you in to attack the dragon. So you don't really want to end up with this sword in your hand necessarily. In addition to Kelmar, Cord also bears an ordinary two-handed +3 sword that he can use in one hand while Kelmar is dancing. Once per day, Cord can polymorph himself into a Titan with a charisma of 24, maintaining his full strength. He will use the full awe power of his charisma in this form to aid friendly troops and undermine the morale of hostile troops. Cord's the son of lesser gods Phaulkon and Suel. He has taken little from either of his parents, instead becoming greater than either of them. Only Lendor can control Cord if he goes berserk. Cord's blood rage occurs whenever he takes half his hit points in damage. In this state, he tries to kill anything, friend or foe alike, that stood within 60 feet of him when the blood rage began. He becomes even stronger, plus 8 to hit, plus 17 to damage. Because of this rage, Cord is widely worshipped in the barbarian communities, even though Cord's alignment is oriented toward good. Cord is quite fond of a pretty face. He favors elven and human women, but is also consorted with other humanoids and even giants. The world is full of his sons and daughters, but few, if any, can claim demigodhood status. Now, at less than 1%. Any figures that can make this claim must have ability scores of 18 to 20 in two of these three ability areas: strength, constitution, and dexterity. And this is what I was talking about, that Cord has, there's some stats in this write-up to give you his children, and if someone could actually play one of his children. Determine whether an offspring of Cord is entitled to demigod status. Roll 2 dice 6 plus 6 for each of your character ability scores. Two of these results must be 18, so you have to roll natural 12 twice. And the numbers must be assigned to the character in two of the three physical areas: strength, con, or dex. If this criterion is met, roll die 4 for each ability score of 18. A 1 or a 2 means no adjustment. A result of a 3 raises that ability score to 19, and a result of 4 raises it to 20. Only those characters who pass all these tests and end up with 2 scores of 19 or higher among strength, constitution, or dex can dare claim their birthright and openly can profess Cord as their father. Cord will not deny such a claim. Instead, on the child's 17th birthday, he will come forth and give the warrior a great task based almost entirely on fighting ability. Those who pass this test will acquire limited special powers. Lendor keeps any demigod of Cord's from becoming too powerful on the plane. Here are the special powers you are eligible for, and this is if your character passes that rather rigid code, but this is quite a bit of power to start a character off with. You roll a die 8 for each of the following abilities. Each demigod character gains from 2 to 4 special powers. Roll a die 8 for each of the special powers. So off of list 1. Number 1, save versus poison is 3 or greater. 2, save versus death is 4 or greater. Number 3, save versus all forms of fear is 3 or greater. Number 4, immune to quest and geisha spells. 5, mask alignment at will. 6, immune to normal missiles. 7, immune to sleep, hold, and slow. And on an 8, you roll twice, ignoring 8s and duplicates. So you roll once on this chart, and then once on this chart. And on this chart, heals health once per week on a natural 1. This is starting power. Number 2, jump or levitate at will. Number 3, enlarge self at will as 10th level magic user. Number 4, climb walls as 7th level thief. Number 5, no non-proficiency penalties applied. I would use that only in melee because he's a brawler, not non-weapons. Number 6, can cast silence on self at will. Number 7, blood rage. Will go berserk, plus 2 to strength if damaged 50% or more in combat. Fighting until slain or until everything within 60 feet is killed. And 8, roll twice, ignoring 8s and duplicates. So again, lots of power to be had if you end up being one of Cord's children. Not only will you have abnormally high stats, you'll have some of these powers. Now, I did read this article back in the day, and I did do a campaign back in the 90s where the players were actually the children of the gods, and I gave them special abilities and such, but nothing on a par with this. I kept it much more limited, and it was really more of a status thing, and as they progressed in character levels, I gave them other abilities. At like 3rd level, everybody gained a dimension door once a day, and things like that. I'll have to dig out my notes on that campaign and see exactly what I did, but I progressed it as the characters progressed. I didn't start them out with a bunch of godlike abilities. If you happen to roll an 8 on each of these lists, so you got 2 of these powers per list, 4 of these, that's a lot of power to start a character with. And then The article continues on and says Kord's children may never be lawful. They can't be paladins, illusionists, monks, or druids. Any of his children do not enter his clergy and who reject the fighting profession by not becoming a fighter or ranger, and any of his offspring who display cowardice will be disowned, which might mean 30% chance that Kord himself will come to the prime material plane to slay the offending character. Now, I would allow barbarians to also worship Kord, and I would allow a barbarian to try to be a child of Kord. The clergy of Kord dress in bright red, white, and blue vestments, not because they're patriotic to America, but because that's what he wears. You can't duplicate the exact pattern that Kord wears. Clergy must show bravery and leadership in battle at all times. And in bonus powers the clerics get at levels 1 to 3, clerics of Kord can only wear white. They gain +1 bonus to save versus fear attacks. Level 4, they can wear white and blue robes and save a bonus +2 when they receive access to protection from lawful spell. So you get a save bonus is +2 on it. Looks like everything. And they receive access to protection from lawful spell, which I'll get to in a moment. At level 7, clerics can wear red, white, and blue garments. They get a +3 save bonus versus fear, and the new spell Detect Lawful. I have a feeling there's a typo here, and I'm guessing this is supposed to be a +2 versus fear. Number 10, Kord's clerics wear red girdle with blue and white trim. They get a +4 bonus to saves versus fear, and the ability to enlarge themselves, only on themselves. At level 16 above, clerics wear white boots with a red girdle and blue trim. Their save bonus is +5, and they can cast strength on self. Saving throws versus fear apply to all forms of fear, including those generated by undead or demons. Interesting, it says here twice that they get a +3 and then a +5. Because of the way it's written, if I was going with this, I would let it be +3 save versus everything, +2 save versus everything at 4th level, and a +5 versus everything at 16th, but that's just me. Bonus spells are cumulative, and you do take a spell slot. One is protection from lawful. It works as protection from evil, except it serves as proof against lawful alignment while keeping out chaotics as well. And Detect Lawful works like a Detect Evil, except it discovers emanations of lawful alignment. Enlarge and Strength work the same as the first level MU spells, the same name. And Kord is worshipped more than any other Suel deity. Thriving churches dedicated to him can be found in the barbarian states, Northern Ulic, Almor, the Great Kingdom, Hetmanaland, and the Lendor Isles. Small isolated churches have been found among peasants over the entire route of the Suloi's migration. And now we take a look at his daddy, Phaulkon. I realize that might be Phaulkon, but I'm going to say Phaulkon. Phaulkon. God of the open air. He is a lesser god. Armor class -4, 265 hit points, 5 attacks per round. 2 to 12 from an arrow, 2 to 11 from a dagger +11. Special attacks to spells. Special defenses immune to attacks from feathered creatures. That's pretty interesting. 65% MR, 90% while flying or on an elemental plane of air. He is chaotic good. His worshipper's alignment is good. His symbol is an outline of a man with large eagle wings. He lives on the elemental plane of air. He operates a 5th level cleric, 7th level druid, 22nd level ranger. He's special on magic user and illusionist. He is a 7th level thief and 22nd level bard with a strength of 24, intelligence 20, wisdom 19, dexterity 23, constitution 19, and charisma of 19. Phaulkon appears as a powerful, usually bare-chested man. He's clean-shaven, and his hair is worn short and always tousled because of the wind always blowing around him. He fights with a longbow and a dagger only. He can fire 5 arrows per round. His bow is +5 to hit with a maximum range of 600 yards. Arrows fired from the bow do not suffer from range reductions and are +2 for purposes of to-hit considerations. I would give them the full +5. Each of the arrows will do 2 to 12 points of damage, +5 for the magical enchantment. Once an arrow is used in combat, whether it hits or misses, it becomes an ordinary missile. Phaulkon can fire arrows with no penalty while flying. His dagger is +3 to hit and damage, and because it's magical, deals out 2 to 11 points of damage, +3 for strength, for magic, and 11 more for his strength. He can attack 3 times per round with the dagger. Both his bow and dagger can be used by no one but Phaulkon himself. They are -3 cursed weapons in the hands of anyone else. Phaulkon can summon a genie once per day, a noble genie once per week, and a 20 hit dice air elemental once per month. Each summoned being will obey him to the death. If giant eagles or rocks are within 100 miles of him, he can summon all of them to him, but they must come at their normal flying speed. So, as a normal deity, deities are really formidable. Phaulkon is immune to any attack from a feathered creature, including beasts such as griffins, cockatrices, and pegasi. His magic resistance is 90% while he flies. Even without his girdle of flight, he can become airborne by using his innate fly ability. Phaulkon can speak any bird or flying creature language. Can speak with any bird or flying creature that uses wings for flight, including demons and devils. By his touch, he can make a bow or arrow +1, attack and damage permanently, unless the item is destroyed, and he'll give the gift of this to fighters of good alignment who perform an important task for him. So this is something we would not hand out ordinarily in a campaign. Phaulkon is a relatively active traveler. He enjoys the company of men and elves. He shape changes into normal giant bird at will, as well as the form or an elf or sprite. Phaulkon is second only to Cord in fighting ability among the deities of the Suel Pantheon. As such, he has the power to raise a character's Constitution, strength, dexterity, or constitution scores by 1 point, or if it is not already or any of those abilities 215 if they're not already up there, for a period of 1 day. The maximum strength, dexterity, or constitution score he will bestow in this way is 19. If you really wanted to have a deity who can hand out awards and gifts, I guess Phaulkon's your guy. He's highly resistant to the effects of artifacts and powers, temporarily negates the major powers of such a device for 6 to 36 hours. But that power is usable only once a month. He cannot destroy an artifact in any case, but he's 75% likely to know a great deal about the artifact he sees, aside from how to destroy it. Phaulkon's clergy often wear headdresses of feathers in services and rituals, 1 feather per level of cleric. His clerics always wear at least 1 feather at all times. As special benefits for their service, Phaulkon grants his clerics the powers as they progress in levels. At 5th level, his clerics can speak with birds on an unlimited basis. This doesn't include monsters. At 8th level, they can fly once per day as an 8th level magic user. At 11th level, they can control winds once per day as an 11th level druid. At 16th level, they can summon an 8 hit dice air elemental that will be totally friendly once per week. In addition to feathers, his clergy must always wear white in ceremonies. During travel and everyday labors, they wear various shades of blue. Phaulkon is worshipped as a major deity on Lendor Isle, as well as in Keoland, Ulick, the Omenry, and Selene. It is very doubtful if his temples appear in the Barbarian North or in Hitmonaland. And the next issue, we get a little notice here, we're going to look for Suel, goddess of false promises and deceit, for Tubo, god of stone, metals, and mountains, and Weejas, goddess of magic and death. That'll be in issue 88, so a little teaser to keep us buying. And then we get a look at standard divine abilities that each of these included. I loved that they had that. And then the cleric experience penalties. Really, it doesn't say in these articles, so I would probably just go as a 10% penalty for the various bonuses. But if the cleric has a high wisdom, then they're going to get a 10% bonus to it. So if it's 10% bonus versus 10% penalty, the cleric just progresses as normal without any kind of benefit or detriment. I don't know, for some of these powers, I don't even know if I would charge experience points, because frankly, some of these powers are fairly limited. If I was to allow a child of Cord in there, I might be tempted to charge the experience points there. I really don't know. But there you have it, a quick look at Cord the Brawler and Phaulkon, his father. Let me know what you think. I hope you're enjoying this series. I'm really having fun going back and looking at Gods of Greyhawk again. If you have any comments or anything, please leave them below, and please like the video, and I'll see you next time on page 121.